I'm songwriter and musician Sylvia Black of Betty Black, and you're watching The Artists Forum.
Welcome to the Artists Forum. My name is Michael Inge, and today's guest is music artist Sylvia of Betty Black. She's collaborated with many other artists such as the Black Eyed Peas, Spank Rock, Moby, and Telepop Music. And her own project is Betty Black. She's got a new single and a new video out. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, tell me, I have a question. Where did you come up with the name Betty Black? How did that come about?
I don't really know. In my old band Kudu, we had a song called Black Betty. I think I just flipped that around. It was a quick decision because they had to put my name on the bill. And that's what I went with, and that's what I'm stuck with.
Wow. Well, I loved the show. It was at New Blue, and great band. I loved the songs, thought the songs were great. It kind of, if I walked away and had three adjectives to say, I would say cool, dark, and sexy. That's just me personally. I don't know if any of that connects with you, but
sure.
That's what I felt. Actually, I think we're going to show a clip. We're going to show a clip now from the show last week at New Blue. Great show. Now, are you based here in New York, or where are you based?
No, I lived in New York for 10 years, but for the past 3, almost 4 years, I've been living out of a suitcase. I've been traveling between Virginia, Texas, California, do work in Germany a lot, and I'm touring, so it doesn't make sense to pay rent, so I just keep it moving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that was a residency where you played a few weeks
Yeah, I was just itching to play some Betty Black stuff, so New Blue lets me do what I want pretty much, and I did about 5 weeks.
Now, do you use the same band, or do you have a few different players just depending on what city you're in?
Yeah, it's always open. Next I want to go to DC. I really want to hang out there. There's great bands that have come out of that city, so I want to find a band there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about your musical background, how you discovered music or how music discovered you.
I probably discovered it like everyone, watching MTV and listening to the radio. I had some cool babysitters. One I remember was, her boyfriend was in this band, The Romantics, and she got me into all kinds of stuff, and she got me autographs. She took me shopping for my first records, so it was about 4th grade that I was really into music.
Let me ask you this, what was your first concert ever?
Well, it wasn't my choice. My mom surprised me with a Whitney Houston concert, and I fell asleep at the concert.
Oh,
My first concert of my choosing, I don't, 9th grade, I mean, it's questionable. I probably saw Metallica or Motley Crue. A friend had some tickets. But I used to go to this club called Gilman. It was a punk club in the Bay Area, and check out weird bands up there.
Tell me about what do you like to write off of as far as instrumentation?
It's always easiest to do the bass note and the melody, and then just fill it in. Sometimes I start with a beat. It's usually beat, bass, melody, and then fill it in.
Okay.
But it always starts with an emotion, so that's the very first thing. You have to have something to go from emotionally. What's in your,
You've collaborated with a lot of different artists and producers. What? Couple questions. First of all, how did some of those opportunities come about?
Well, you mentioned the Black Eyed Peas. That was just pure coincidence. I happened to be at a dinner table with one of the producers who went to college with my friend, and she mentioned that I was a musician, he should invite me into the studio. So I went in the next night, and 20 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, we have a hit." I was like, "Oh, sure, this is just some LA talk." But sure enough, it was a hit in 19 countries, and ever since then, I've been shuffled around to different producers trying to make it happen for other artists, and that's how it started. It's kind of random.
And which track was that from the Black Eyed Peas?
Meet Me Halfway.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. How is the process different for you when you're collaborating, for maybe another artist project or with another producer versus just Betty Black?
A lot more freedom if it's just for me, because I don't have too much expectation. But with other people, the producers want a hit, so you kind of get confined right away. You got to jump up to that major 6 in the chorus. You got to, do all the tools and rules that seem to have worked in the past. I don't really like that kind of stuff. I like to just go with whatever the day brings me. But so writing pop hits is not that easy.
Yeah, it's really a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, a lot of people have to agree, and a lot of people want to have their say-so they can get something out of it. So it's kind of like a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but half of it is not very musical to me.
Since you've had some great collaborations where you have written for other people and also been featured, and then you've got your own solo project, how were you doing the solo project first, or did that kind of come later where you're like, now it's time to do my own thing?
Well, I had a band, and I enjoyed it. It was electronic based. We had an amazing drummer, and I was having fun. But I really wanted to do something that was just strictly live instruments and just get to some roots as a songwriter. So it's been a long process, and I'm kind of anxious to get back to the electronic world that I was so involved in. But yeah, Betty Black was all about bringing guitars to the forefront and something that you could strip down and the song would still be good.
Tell me about some of your influences. You mentioned before some of the music you were exposed to when you were younger, and what influences do you think are a part of the music now that you're making?
It's hard to say because there's so many, and I don't know what shows up where. I mean, definitely blues. The first time I started working in a record store, I discovered Etta James, so all of that. Sinead O'Connor with The Lion and the Cobra, her voice was really strong. I always like females with really interesting characters like Nina Hagen, Susie Sue, the Sugar Cubes. So if you were a female, you had to be a little different, a little interesting. And then I love, PIL, and I love the whole punk thing. I like Bad Brains. But I don't really know what influences me now.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes you have the things that you listen to and you really enjoy, and then you look back later and then you see there's another influence that maybe creeps up in your work that you don't really realize has influenced you, but it was there somewhere in the background. Yeah,
there's really just a lot of good music. I went through a period where I just didn't like music. I was like, nobody's doing anything interesting, but now that I'm looking again, there's a lot of really good music out there.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the new album that you're working on and the single Heartless. you've got a video for that.
Yeah.
How was that shooting a video? Is this your first video, or have you done a few?
No, I've done a lot of videos. My videos are fun and funny because I'm always attempting to do them myself.
Oh, wow.
It's just the easiest, cheapest way to do it. So I'm learning a lot about shooting video, and I edit them, and it's a lot of fun. And it's cheaper, but it's still costly. And in fact, I'm going to try and shoot one tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
In a karaoke booth.
Oh.
But yeah, that video for Heartless was a lot of fun. That was out in the desert in Joshua Tree, and we found a theme room hotel, and we did some shooting in this really crazy 50s styled room with this Cadillac bed, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's fun.
Now that you're doing more videos, do you, as you're creating the song, do you ever start to imagine?
Yeah, that's
the
a
video?
real problem. It's like I have a million videos to shoot and no budget. That's the problem.
Well, that'll come. So tell me about the album. That's one of the singles, or one of the songs from the album. Have you finished the album? Is it all done, or is it still?
It's on the verge. I would say it's 95% done.
Okay.
We're expecting to release it end of winter.
Okay.
It'll be called Valley Low.
We're actually going to show a clip of Heartless right now, so you guys can check it out.
These are the last sad words I'll sing for you. Life's too short to be blue. These are the last sad words I'll sing for you.
Great song, great video.
Thank you.
Now I have a question, okay. I'm curious, is Betty Black a little bit of an alter ego, or am I wrong?
I mean, she's not too far from the original.
Okay. All right. It's like in the video, it's like I see like these characters or these other kind of streams of, I guess, like maybe your personality that's like you're able to let out.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
I don't have a problem letting my personality out in general, but yeah, it's just visual.
Yeah, great video. Tell me also about the album and like your plans to launch that and promote that. You're going to do a tour?
I would love to do a tour. I love playing live, but I need to get a booking agent.
Okay.
So that would be helpful in touring.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing as we go. We're releasing singles and we're building up awareness, so we'll see what happens by the end of winter.
Well, let's just put it out there. Wish list, if you could wave that magic wand, poof, 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 tell me, what would you just love to see? Like, for example, like, ooh, anybody you would love to like go out on tour with, you know? Who would you like to maybe tour with?
Well,
yeah.
with this project, I suppose somebody like Dum Dum Girls. With my other project, Black in Colors, which is more psych rock, if we could open for Queens of the Stone Age, that would be brilliant.
Wow.
But, you know, we can dream. I'd love to open for Nick Cave. I'd love to open for Jack White.
Anywhere you'd like to play that you haven't played, like anywhere overseas or anywhere you haven't hit?
I can't think of too many places I haven't hit with one group or another. Telepop music takes me to China and Russia and all kinds of places. I still haven't been to Iceland, and I have friends there. I'd love to go there.
I also, when I hear some of your songs, there are elements where I can imagine it like in TV or film. It's got like a cinematic kind of just a vibe to it. Again, like, are there any places where you'd be like, I'd love to see a song in this TV show or in a film or any kind of vibe or style?
I mean, any TV show or film that'll have me, you got to be grateful for, because everybody wants those spots. I always thought my stuff was great for any American Horror Story, and all the vampire shows.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But, you know, you got to be connected.
Yeah. Well, you know, I heard an interesting story about how one of the producers from, I think it was True Blood, was a big iTunes fan, and he just would scour through iTunes and found some artists that way.
That's
so
cool.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's always good to just put it out there.
Right. I have a lot of music backed up that I want to get out, and it's frustrating for me because everything takes so long. But it's what you have to do if you want people to hear it.
And definitely more videos, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me this. One question we try to ask people is if you could give advice to another artist, maybe an up-and-coming artist, what would you offer for sage advice?
Have a good attitude around the people that you're working with. Make sure if you're in a band, you're working with people that share the same tastes and kind of on the same level. There's something to be gained from every experience, so it's kind of hard to say anything definite. You kind of have to feel your way through. Music is not an A to B to C type situation. If you have someone in your family that's connected, then you're already halfway there.
Oh, yeah. Now, you're on the record label Kid Recordings, right? And we recently had Craig Roseberry here as a guest not too long ago on one of our previous episodes. Tell me, how did you come in contact with Craig and being on that label?
I came in contact with Craig many years ago when he was managing a project I used to play bass for. So I got to know him, and I found out that we have the same taste in music, and he really supported me, and eventually he started managing me and created the label Kid Recordings so that he could put out his artist music. And that's a really great thing because it gives you complete control and freedom over everything from artwork to the final mixes, to how you want to be represented, and you get to own your masters. So it's a really nice thing that he could do for us.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people go back and forth whether or not independent labels, major labels, and sometimes it can be a real benefit to have such creative control
Right.
that you get with the independent. Well, we want to make sure that everybody connects with Betty Black, Sylvia, Betty Black, and make sure you go to the website, bettyblack.net. Give us your Twitter, Facebook, or your best social media contacts.
Okay, Facebook, it's Betty Black Music, and my website is bettyblack.net, and my Instagram, which I'm obsessed with, is Sylvia Sees, Sylvia_SEES.
Well, the single's coming out. The single's out right now.
Yeah.
Heartless.
Mm-hmm.
Available
iTunes
iTunes,
and
all
everywhere,
digital,
yeah.
retail.
Mhm.
All right, so make sure you get the single. Check out the video. Thank you so much for being here and being a guest and
Thank
talking
you.
to us today.
Thank you. I had a good time.
I'm Michael Inge. Thanks for watching the Artists Forum.